I am Anthium, welcome to Two Tails, and we're here to talk about high scores on the Moon Patrol demo found on the Intellivision Amico Club app. Thank you for being here. Now, let's start off right away by saying this video is actually about a month behind. The reason for that is life has been trying to kick my family in the teeth, but we're still here and we're still chugging along. So, about a month ago, Intellivision did a high score challenge for their demo, Moon Patrol. You can get that through the Intellivision Amico Club app, which can be available for smart devices, be it Apple or Android based. Now, with that being said, the competition ran through October, and the goal was to try and have this up in October to help people bump their scores up, because I know a lot of people playing very, very hard at the game that struggle to get higher scores, and of course then there's people out there that are scoring astronomically high. Now, with that being said, the end of the competition came and went. The winner scored a whopping 37,250 points, which is a very impressive score, and I'll explain that in a little bit. And the Intellivision CEO made a comment in a podcast, I believe, that there was a runner-up that matched that score, and they were going to try and do something for the runner-up as well. So only 2 people scored that high. Now, where did I fall in this list? Well, we'll get to my score in just a moment. So who's this video for? This video is for anyone that's new to Moon Patrol in regards to how the game actually works and points that you score, as well as for people who have been playing for a while. You see, there are some people out there that have been playing really hard, and I've noticed a few very small things that tend to get missed. So without spending too much more time, let's get into this. Real quickly, let's start out this Moon Patrol showcase with this. This is a tweet that I sent to Intellivision and the CEO Tommy Tallarico about midway through the competition. Playing the game, I had the thought, how did the gameplay really change from Moon to Moon? What would keep people finding a challenge in it? And I simply considered, well, moons are different sizes in reality, so that also means potentially different gravities, and would that affect the jump? Now, I got a very general maybe. So it's neither a confirmation nor is it actually a no. So that's some food for thought for you long-term players out there, that you're not just going to be able to just truck through it potentially. You might have to adjust your playing style per moon. And I find that to be interesting. So let's move on to where I scored and some important information about that. So here we are. My scorecard at its current best. I ranked in at 35,950, and I can tell you that if I hit all the targets, I could have broken into the 36,000 point range. And while I can't wrap my mind around how someone breaks into the 37,000 point range, the reality of the matter is that point spread between 35,950 to 37,250 is both not that large, but also astronomically large in regards to how the game plays. Now, from here, we're going to look at another score. My video will be broken up into a single run that has different clips from alternate runs in there, so I can showcase some important highlights for you. So let's start breaking down the points, shall we? While there's a few ways to score points in Moon Patrol, your score is heavily affected at the end based on how many lives you have left in time, and that's where the really big scoring is at. You get 500 points per life, so the less you die, the far better off you are. But you also score 100 points for every second that you beat the average time. The average time for the level is roughly about 400 seconds by default, but that adjusts down as you beat the level. So it is possible, once you get consistent enough to beat the level, to sandbag your average time up to 400 and then have a really good run and capitalize on those points. So let's move into the opponents and obstacles that you'll find that you score your points on, and why it is the game's got a little bit of a luck factor right now. So in this demo, you encounter things like boulders, which are the most common land obstacle, along with UFOs, which come in a couple of different colors and some different behavior patterns, along with these evil red fried eggs known as landmines, and we'll talk about them in just a moment in regards to how you can actually score points off those. And of course, pit traps or spiked pits, which are just another obstacle. However, you can earn 100 points for each UFO, mine, and boulders destroyed, and you'll see what I mean about destroying the mines inside the actual run itself, but you can score 50 additional points for each mine, boulder, and pit successfully jumped. So from here, we'll get into the actual gameplay. So let's start off by saying that Moon Patrol is in fact a game that rewards perseverance. The level layouts don't change, at least not in the demo. The mines, pits, and rocks do not move. And outside of those tricky UFOs in a few certain circumstances, that all makes sense. Now this is important. When your buggy flashes and it beams, that means UFOs are nearby, and that's going to be important later, and I'll explain that when we get there. But perseverance is the key to the high score. Practicing the levels, getting comfortable with how you need to get through it, knowing what zones you need to pay attention to. Like for me, Sector T was by far one of the most difficult parts for me to get through when I first started playing. But the largest bonuses to your score is going to come at the end of the run with the 5,000 points for completing the level, and then the bonuses for extra lives and how fast you got the level done. That's all important. Now, the way this is going to work, this is going to be my one run through, and at specific points I'm going to cut it and I'm going to slow it down so I can bring your attention to some specific points that should help bump up your score. Now, if you want the high score, practice completing the game, or at least the level. I know that's kind of an obvious statement, but super high scores, when you get into like the 30,000, even the 25,000 range, that takes practice and dedication. Now, this is an important area in the game. I'm going to let you watch this real quick, and it's going to cut, and we're going to go back to the start of the jump. All right, so you get this infinite firepower here. It's a whole lot of fun. And then we get to the bottom of the hill. All right, let's take this back just a moment. Now, I'm going to slow this down. So watch carefully here. All right, so far it seems relatively normal, but do you see the difference? There are no red UFOs here. And this is what I mean by some of it is a little bit about luck. Especially in this zone and certain zones that actually will appear where you will blink, but you won't see any UFOs at all, which means maybe they're off screen. But in that zone, you're not always guaranteed, or in a few zones, you're not always guaranteed to get all the UFOs. Sometimes it's the yellow ones, sometimes it's the red ones, sometimes it's no UFOs at all. So if you're really shooting for that super high score, you need to know where the UFOs are, how many you're going to see, and what kind you're going to see. They're all the same point value. And if there's less, it's easier to get through the level, sure. But it's going to cost you points if you're going for that high score and you don't see any UFOs that should be there. And that does happen from time to time. Now, I've said this before in some earlier gameplay. Mind your shooting distances, mind your speed, and be willing to commit to what you're doing. There's a variation in the way the game plays, depending on how efficiently you're getting to the level. It changes the pacings and where you're going to wind up when the UFOs are shooting at you and so forth. So you do have to adjust on the fly. And that's something that experiencing the game makes a lot more sense versus someone just explaining it to you. Alright, so here we go. This is the area where we should get our first green shield. And this is how you deal with the evil red fried eggs of doom. There you have it. This makes you a 6-wheel green battering ram, and those mines are worth 100 points each, and something you cannot afford to skip if you have the luxury of the shield. And while that may seem a little straightforward, someone had to tell me that you could run over the mines, and I've seen some other players. Now, I rewound this here. Watch closely. Did you catch it? Watch it. Did you catch it? That last UFO I destroyed while it was off screen. Don't give up the fight, okay? Just because you missed the UFO when you hit the start of the next checkpoint and it moves off the screen, depending the route that UFO takes, is whether or not you will score that additional 100 points if you're willing to continue to shoot. So just because you miss it doesn't mean the fight's actually over. And that's an important small little tidbit there. Now we're getting into probably the most hazardous area in the game for the jumps in regards to combinations of rocks and mines. Now this is important because what you saw me slow down there. You can get both of these rocks. And as far as I know, every area that has a pair of rocks, you can successfully get them all. But more so, yes, I'm slowing down here. Watch as we go into the next cut. Here we go, full speed. It is possible to make both of those rocks going at full speed if you know the measurement of your range there. So this Moon Patrol game, this demo, it is a game of practice and perseverance. It is a game that rewards the continued effort. And I wanted to bring this out. Well, this doesn't have much to do with the score, but more of a cautionary tale. Believe it or not, the UFO's energy ball can intercept your main gun laser. And if your timing is bad, it really does appear that you destroyed the boulder when you haven't. As a matter of fact, you need to mine the UFOs because the UFOs can actually destroy the boulders and you don't get the points when the UFO blows that boulder up. So sometimes it's really a race to get that shot off. So as I was saying, this is a game that rewards perseverance. But if you're looking just to beat your high score, focus on playing cautiously but committedly and making it to the end. That's how you're truly going to improve your score. All these small nickels and dimes help for the giant score at the end, but that takes time to get to. And the one thing I can definitely say about this game is Intellivision's time and high score leaderboards is going to make this game extremely competitive when it comes out. Thanks for catching this video. I hope this helps whether you are new or seasoned and a repeat player. All the best. Two Tails out.